Broward County, because I just saw this story. It happened just this month here. Man is now facing felony charges after trying to scam the deed of a home from a widow with 4 children. Absolutely insane. Natalie, walk us through what happened here.
Hi, Jack. Hi, everyone. So, part of my job, my main job is to keep an eye on these news stories and stay, abreast of what's going on. So, this is a really, really sad case because just like what happens with the elderly, people are constantly trying to scam those who are grieving, those who are not looking and not paying attention. The last thing that this new widow with her 4 children had to worry about was, watching the deed of their home, thinking some person's going to come in and try to steal it from them to do with it what they want, right? So in Broward County, what happened is this man filed this fraudulent deed and then nothing happened for months. So keep in mind, whenever you guys go and file any of these paperwork, or if scammers are filing any of this paperwork, it changes hands quite a few times, right? The county has to file it, they have to scan it, they have to index it, they have to do all these things so that they are made available to the public and are in their records. And then it changes hands. So in this case, this document went to the property appraiser's office, and when they're notified of the ownership change, and it was actually someone in this unit that noticed that something on the warranty deed was strange, that the signature of the person was dated 2 months after they had passed away. So this is how this happened. This went on for months, 2 months after the death. Um, and they found it and they actually have a crimes against property unit in Florida because this crime is very, very prevalent. Florida, California, New York, Tennessee, Texas, these are all, I mean, it's everywhere, but these are the hotbed of activity, right? So this is the saddest thing to me looking at this story, is that this is not something that got caught at the county. This is not something that got caught as it was being filed. It took changing hands multiple times, and just one person paying a little bit of attention to see that this was awful and wrong and report it.
Now, what I want to check out here is, so was he able to take control of the title in order to be able to get some money in, or do we not know?
Yeah, nope, it was filed. So that's why it got to the appraiser's office, right? So again, no stop
Wow.
at the county. He was able to walk in. He did a fraudulent signature, had a fraudulent notary stamp. During the investigation afterwards, they said they'd even reached out to the notary whose stamp was on the paperwork. And the notary was like, I have no record of this. This wasn't me. They'd probably scrapped it from some other document within the county, and filed it. So doing their due diligence, the family didn't know who this was. This was just a stranger off the street, probably paying attention to, are obituaries still a thing? Online obituaries, people that have recently passed away. I say this all the time. Matthew Cox, who you guys have had on the show before, the criminal who, had went to prison for this for, I think it was 11 or 13 years. He said that's something he would do. He would just walk into a neighborhood, keep an eye out, check out some things, look at people who'd recently passed away, look at elderly people in homes that aren't being watched. It's all just people, just scammers taking advantage of people that are in positions where they're not watching and they're not being vigilant about security.
And especially someone in this case who, as you say, a widow, 4 children, someone who's, probably obviously going to be very distracted, someone who's focused on a
Absolutely.
million other things. So here's a situation where the last thing I think on anyone's mind would be their home title. And then boom, that's exactly who gets targeted because they know
For
that. And,
sure.
and do you think, and I think you alluded to it, but do you think that is the reason that actually this woman was targeted?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, how is she? This is nothing that she's thinking about right now. She's got 4 kids. She just lost her husband. She's not, I mean, who really is? Who thinks about? That's why we do this, right? That's why we bring these stories to the public. No one is sitting here constantly thinking, let me watch this paperwork that's filed with our government office to make sure that they're doing their jobs. And I mean, technically they are. Their job is to make sure it's filled out properly. They don't look at the notary stamp to make sure that it's correct. In some states they may verify signatures, but it's so easy to forge a signature, especially, I mean, look at AI. You can have AI copy voices. I can make myself sound like I'm singing a Beyonce song. Like, AI can do anything now.
Yeah.
So it's super easy to get one of these documents online and then just file it. And a lot of these counties actually take the paperwork online, which is also very scary. So it's a very easy thing to do. And all you have to do is find the right target. And in this case, this Florida man found the right target. It was very sad.
Well, and as awful as this is, what it's important for us to hear about it, to raise awareness of it. Thank you for coming
Mhm.
on here and raising your awareness of it. Now, something like this happens, it feels like the world is falling, just completely falling all around us. And then,
Yeah,
you don't even know have once you diagnose it, that still creates problems. And so now you're spending money to get your money back, right? So it's
absolutely.
completely ridiculous while you're
No,
dealing with kids
yeah,
and
and
work and all the other
you
stuff.
I
So
wanna touch on
so
that really
where
quick. You hit something very
Oh yeah,
important.
please go ahead.
Like, so this man has been arrested, right? He's being charged by Florida. Luckily, Florida is actually charging these crimes now, which is wonderful. But now the homeowner still has to go through the entire restoration process, and that's why we do what we do. We're not just monitoring, we're not just alerts. We bring the homeowner through the entire restoration process. We'll spend up to $1 million to fix the fraud, get everything situated, whether that's us sitting in court and going through paperwork for a year, which we've done and we will continue to do. That's what we do. Because if this homeowner walks into the county office and says this is fraud, the county's going to go, okay, cool, go hire a lawyer. And then they have to find a lawyer that actually deals with this kind of stuff. So we have a network of legal experts around the US for every single municipality because every state is different, every county is different. And we take care of it for you so that you don't have to do anything. There's no out of pocket spend, there's no out of pocket energy. We're here for you. And I think if this widow would have had home title lock, I think that it would have made a huge difference probably in her financial and emotional state at this point.
So in a situation like this, obviously, nobody wants to be in this type of situation, but hey, that's
Mhm,
why we have insurance. That's why I have insurance on my car. That's why I have insurance on my house,
mhm.
insurance on everything, that I can think of, because of the unthinkable happening in my car. So with home title lock, what would home title lock do in a, obviously not this situation, but in a similar situation?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. So we are urgent alerts, right? We're 24/7 monitoring. I think this is something really important to hit. So with general, I know some audience members might say, "Oh, I have identity theft protection." So identity theft protection monitors the person, not the property. We monitor your property. So anything that's filed in accordance with your property, you're going to get notified of, right? So the moment you get a notification, and we have different notifications for different things, but there are some pieces of paperwork that are, a lot more, I don't want to say more urgent, but are more suspicious. So we alert you of anything. The moment you even think something is fraud, even if it's something that you filed and you totally forgot about, or your bank filed something or whatever it is, we notify you. You let us know. Our research team immediately takes action. We will call the county. We will look into the paperwork. We look at the documentation. We do all of that. If it is deemed fraud, we immediately start getting in contact with our legal network for whatever state, county it's in. We immediately start gathering every piece of documentation needed and start going through the process of restoration. Because the quicker you get these things fixed, the less likely it is that that scammer can utilize and take your equity out, go take out loans, try to sell your house. And then we go through all the legal process with anyone that needs to be, included. If that's including, talking to the
Well, not
police, whatever it is, like we do that with and for the homeowner to make sure that
well,
they're not alone and taking a year to do something where a scammer could take advantage of all that extra time.